How does someone completely vanish into thin air? That's exactly what happened to 30-year-old Brandee Canipe in 2006. Her sister Lee is here on TikTok and she could really use our help. Not much is known about Brandee's life right before she went missing, but what is known comes directly from Lee, who was about 11 years old at the time of Brandee's disappearance. In 2006, Lee and her 13-year-old sister, along with their mom, moved in with Brandee and her fiancé in Mocksville, North Carolina after experiencing some financial struggles. A few months in, and Brandee's fiancé became really violent and abusive, so Brandee, Lee, and their other sister moved into a house on Bellow Lake. Their mom ended up moving back to Shelby, North Carolina, as the girls stayed behind. So the owner of the lake house went by the name of Deacon, and according to Lee, he was a really creepy guy. He was in his late 40s to early 50s and lived in another lake house up the road completely alone. Lee described that on one occasion, Deacon took the girls to his house where he then showed them a room that was full of used women's belongings. Like used women's shoes, purses, and watches. It was just really creepy because he didn't have a wife, he lived alone, and he told the girls that they could take whatever they wanted. But Deacon was reportedly the last person to see Brandee alive. Shortly after this, CPS got involved and took Lee and her sister back to their mom in Shelby, and from what they knew, Brandee was still at that lake house. A little while later, Brandee came to visit the family in Shelby, and the last time Lee saw her was about a week later. They were all waiting for the school bus in Brandee's car, but after this, Brandee completely vanished. She was reported missing by her aunt, but no trace of Brandee or her car have ever been found. Brandee's case has never really been publicized other than this one article, and authorities never spoke to Lee or her sister. I think that might be because they were kids at the time, but I'm not sure. But here's the thing. It wasn't even until last year that authorities found out about the lake house. Last year in 2021 was the first time that they had ever heard anything about it. The family never knew the address to the lake house, they only knew that it was in Davie County, and because it's been 16 years, nobody has ever found Deacon, and he's never come forward. Authorities aren't sure if that was even his real name. Authorities drove around the area that the family thought the lake house was in, looking for it, but they never found it. It was a really old house, so it's thought that with all the new construction in the area that it was possibly built over. Authorities have a few theories as to what could have happened to Brandee. Theory number one is that her fiancé at the time could have been involved, but authorities didn't end up searching his house until years down the road, and at that point, any evidence that would have been there was gone. His house had reportedly been thoroughly cleaned, and the floorboards were torn up. Theory number two is that Brandee could have been human trafficked, but so far, no evidence of that has ever been found. And theory number three is Deacon. He was supposedly last seen with her in a pickup truck right before she went missing, but he's never been identified. And Brandee reportedly wasn't paying him rent, so nothing can be tracked back to him. Brandee's bank account hasn't been used since 2006, and her license expired in 2008, and it's never been renewed. And after 16 years, Brandee's case is still unsolved. Her case is still open and active, but social media can be a really great thing in pushing cases like this to the public eye. If you aren't following Lee on TikTok already, please do so and show her some support. I'll tag her in the caption. If you have any information on the disappearance of Brandee Canipe, please call the Davie County Sheriff's Office at 336-751-6238, or you can get in contact with Lee.